Look at me, backing you up.
Thank you, sir.
Whereas I'm getting a call from my...
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Merci à tous. My name is Luke Randall. I'm the MLA for Fredericton North. I just live up the street. It's exciting to be here. I'm Minister responsible for Economic Development, Opportunities in New Brunswick, Small Business, ANBL, CNB, and the Minister responsible for the Regulatory Accounting, Accountability and Reporting Act. And I will be your co-MC for today's event. It is, you know what? Minister Demore and I have a bit of a competition going, so he isn't here, but I'm sure he'll appreciate it. David Myles, MP for Fredericton, Oromocto, also Parliamentary Secretary. To the Minister of Canadian Identity and Culture, Minister responsible for official languages, and to the Secretary of State of Nature. Thank you for co-emceeing with me today. I would like to begin by respectfully acknowledging that we're gathered on the unceded, unsurrendered territory of the Wolastoqey, Mi'kmaq, and Pescatamoquoddy people. I'm also pleased to be joined by the Honorable Gregor Robertson, Minister of Housing and Infrastructure, Minister responsible for the Pacific Economic Development Canada, the Honorable Susan Holt, Premier of New Brunswick, the Honorable Dominic LeBlanc, President of the King's Privy Council for Canada, Minister responsible for Canada-US trade, intergovernmental affairs, internal trade, and One Canadian Economy. It's true. It's true, it's true. The Honorable David Hickey, Minister responsible for the New Brunswick Housing Corporation, Wayne Long, Secretary of State for Canada Revenue Agency and Financial Institutions, and Member of Parliament for St. John, Kennebecasis. I'd now like to invite Parliamentary Secretary David Myles to join me to share a few words about today's very exciting announcement.
There we go. Thank you, everybody. Great to see everybody here. Thank you so much, Minister Randall. And c'est une grande journée aujourd'hui pour les logements abordables ici au Nouveau-Brunswick. Ça me fait grand plaisir d'être ici parmi vous autres. This is a very exciting day for affordable housing in New Brunswick. This is work that has been ongoing, certainly on the federal level, for a long time, and it's particularly since the last election. I know many of us ran on the importance of housing. And so this is an incredibly exciting day to be here together, celebrating this big, enormous announcement. So exciting that I think I have all of my members of Parliament from New Brunswick, my colleagues, with me today. Such a pleasure to have you all here. And great to be able to host everybody, including the Minister of Housing, who came all the way from Vancouver to enjoy the north side of Fredericton today. So, gotta love that. Today's announcement is a culmination of a lot of important work done by so many important stakeholders who are joining us here today. My colleagues and I recognize your vital work in addressing the housing crisis. So I just want to say thank you for all your work, for investing in our communities, and we're incredibly lucky to have you as our neighbors and our colleagues. How about a big hand for all those working in this sector and all of our communities throughout New Brunswick. La crise du logement au Canada est trop grave pour être résoluée à l'aide d'une approche traditionnelle. C'est pourquoi notre gouvernement adopte une approche audacieuse en effectuant des investissements sans précédent pour accroître l'offre de logements au Canada. Je suis si heureux d'être ici pour assister à cette collaboration entre nos organismes à but non lucratif, le secteur privé, le milieu universitaire et tous les niveaux du gouvernement dans le but d'investir dans l'avenir du Nouveau-Brunswick. Et aujourd'hui, mes collègues et moi-même sommes fiers de soutenir cet important projet qui marque une avancée significative pour le logement dans notre région. To tell you more, please let me introduce my friend and my colleague, the Honorable Gregor Robertson, Minister of Housing and Infrastructure and Minister responsible for Pacific Economic Development Canada, who will deliver remarks on behalf of the Government of Canada. Thank you, David. Thank you.
Hello, thank you, David. Merci, and bonjour tout le monde. Thank you for the kind introduction. I feel like a rock star for a change. New Brunswick, you know how to show up. This is fantastic. Wow, really inspiring to see so many of you. And as David just said, so many of you who builders, a whole cul-de-sac full of builders here to celebrate our next big, bold, and as David just said, approche audacieuse, audacious and ambitious approach to building affordable housing. Great to be here with the whole team, the New Brunswick team, both our whole federal team as well as our provincial and local officials. The mayor is here. Thank you for joining us. As a former mayor, I got to give the mayor a shout out, recognizing the local service. So honored to be joining you here today and really excited for what's next. Because we live in very challenging and volatile times, which unfortunately mean far too many Canadians are struggling to find a home that they can afford. So solving Canada's housing crisis requires bold action right now, action that brings down the costs, that cuts the red tape that we have, anything that slows it down. We need to accelerate the pace of construction and deepen the affordability. And that's why your government launched Build Canada Homes late last year to focus on a one-stop shop that builds affordable housing. We need to build at a scale that is unprecedented in generations now, and we need to catalyze a more productive home building industry, like you have brewing here in New Brunswick. À travers le pays, on reconnaît le défi auquel font face de nombreux Canadiens pour trouver un logement. Votre nouveau gouvernement fédéral prend action. Today, I'm proud to announce a major new partnership between Canada and New Brunswick, a partnership that will deliver up to 1,200 shovel-ready, affordable homes with the potential to scale up to 1,500 homes beginning this year. And in the coming weeks and months, this is just the beginning, as in the coming weeks and months, our federal MPs, our provincial representatives, and local officials will be making announcements to scale this up, announcing projects in communities across the province as this work moves forward. And under this collaboration, New Brunswick will deliver 1,200 nonprofit and community housing units, with at least half ready to begin this year in 2026. And more than 50% of these homes will be affordable, very low to moderate income households, with more than 160 supportive and transitional homes for people who need those additional supports to thrive. So this is a huge commitment on New Brunswick's behalf. You guys are setting the bar here in this first rollout, the first phase of Build Canada Homes. And as a federal government, we are meeting you in that partnership. Build Canada Homes intends to invest up to $150 million towards this housing portfolio, prioritizing projects that are ready to move in, quickly deliver deep affordability, and make the best use of our public investments. Ce travail est rendu possible grâce à une étroite collaboration. The province of New Brunswick is stepping up with major investments that are essential to ensuring that supportive and rent-geared to income housing remains affordable over the long term. These are long-term commitments, and again, local partners have a key role to play in this. Through the partnership, local governments are encouraged to support housing delivery by helping fast-track approvals, reduce or waive development fees, and provide temporary property tax relief when possible. These measures can help really get the shovels in the ground quicker, remove the barriers, accelerate the work that we do. So we need all our levels of government focused on this. Right now, it's going to turn into implementation. It's going to be turning into getting all of you builders out there building as fast as possible, and those of you who take care of projects going forward and the people who are in them. This partnership is also about building differently. This is prioritizing modern methods of construction, including modular and off-site manufacturing by encouraging the use of Canadian-made materials. And we are shortening build times, reducing costs, and delivering homes more efficiently all year round, creating jobs and innovation here at home. And New Brunswick is a leading light when it comes to modern methods of construction. I saw that firsthand on my first visit here as minister last June. You are leading the charge, and that means great opportunities for producing homes that can be built across Atlantic Canada, and I'll say far beyond that. When we scale up the industry here and prove what's possible, we can be exporting those building technologies, frankly, all over the world. That's where we want to get to here. By using made-in-Canada solutions to tackle our unique and challenging housing needs, we create opportunities for New Brunswick and Canadian businesses and manufacturers, making our housing industry and our economy stronger at the same time. Depuis son lancement à l'automne, Maison Canada avance à un rythme record. Nous avons collaboré avec les autres gouvernements pour accélérer la construction des nouveaux logements à Ottawa, en Nouvelle-Écosse, Nunavut et en Colombie-Britannique. But New Brunswick is now got the highest bar, so congratulations to the province.
That's right.
You're giving the other provinces and territories, you're dropping the gauntlet for them to scale up their commitments and investment. Yeah. En collaboration avec la province de Nouveau-Brunswick, Maison Canada travaille fort pour augmenter le nombre de logements abordables dans l'effort national du Canada pour bâtir plus de logements, améliorer l'abordabilité et réduire l'itinérance. Together, we will build homes that the province needs. We will build homes that New Brunswick and Canada needs and build our province and our country strong. Thank you very much. Merci à tous.
Thank you, Minister Robertson. I think when I'm hearing the minister speak, it's exciting to have moved from words on a page to real action. And I would just like to say that these two governments working together to create 1,200 new homes is so exciting. And the leader of our government, the Honourable Susan Holt, I'd like to invite to the stage to say a few words as well.
Bravo.
Do this a little bit if I can. Wonderful. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out in such great numbers. It's wonderful to see all of you here for this day of celebration of a next step forward in making New Brunswick more affordable. I am thrilled to share with you that the New Brunswick government is contributing $150 million towards 1,200 affordable homes for New Brunswickers. Je suis vraiment fière d'être ici pour annoncer que notre gouvernement va contribuer 150 millions de dollars pour la construction de 1,200 unités pour que les Néo-Brunswickois peuvent être chez soi ici dans notre province. Ceci, c'est une journée importante et on a besoin de ce travail. As the minister said, too many New Brunswickers are also having a hard time finding home. And our government is committed to making sure that everyone has a place that is safe, affordable, dignified, and accessible to call home in this province. That's why we have tackled this with seriousness. We have come out to deliver on our commitment of new housing starts, and we have come out to deliver on our commitment to decreasing the number of people experiencing chronic homelessness in this province. The announcement today is going to take us in many steps towards that goal. There's been a lot of work behind this project, so I want to take a moment to acknowledge that there's people here who contributed to this work. First of all, to Minister Robertson, thank you. To your team and to all of our excellent New Brunswick MPs who have been part of this, advocating and putting the solution together. To Minister David Hickey, who has led this charge with focus, yes, and persistence and creativity getting people on board, getting the support of our colleagues, to the team at Housing New Brunswick, an excellent group of people who have put their heart and souls into making sure that New Brunswickers have the kinds of houses they need all over the province. Merci beaucoup. And then in the community here, we have our municipal partners. I'm fortunate to have my mayor, Kate, here, surrounded by other mayors of neighboring communities and partners from across the province. Our building partners, the team from Maple Leaf Homes, who has done this incredible work that you can see behind and beside us, and who make New Brunswick proud on the national and international stage every day. I see our partners from the Union of Municipalities, from the Construction Association, John Ryan. Merci tout le monde pour votre travail, parce que quand on a des défis comme l'abordabilité et la difficulté de trouver une maison abordable, ça prend une communauté. And that's what we have here. Leadership from the federal government, leadership from Minister Hickey and his team, community partnerships, industry partnerships that are going to help us house 1,200 more families in amazing, beautiful, affordable homes like these ones. So this is just the start. As the minister said, you're going to see a number of different details come in the weeks ahead in different communities all over our province of projects that are going to be starting and housing starts that are going to go forward. And we're not going to stop there. Our government is going to continue to do everything we can to make sure that New Brunswickers' housing needs are met. On va travailler d'arrache-pied pour assurer que les besoins des Néo-Brunswickois sont adressés et peuvent trouver des places d'être chez soi dans notre province. Je suis vraiment fière de le travail que notre équipe fait. Je suis vraiment fière de cette annonce aujourd'hui. $300 million invested in making sure that 1,200 New Brunswick families have an affordable place to call home. We're not going to stop there, but today is a great day for New Brunswickers and for affordability. Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you so much, Premier Holt. It is indeed a great day, and what I love to see is that this is about everybody coming together to address the challenge. As has been said, all levels of government have been working together nonstop to arrive at this day, but also it's about engaging the skills that we have in New Brunswick. It's one of my favorite parts about this challenge and about this job is about bringing people together towards the challenge, and this means the builders, the contractors, softwood lumber that we have in New Brunswick. We have everything we need to address this challenge. We have the workers, and this is going to mean great jobs for years to come as well. And so that's an important part of this. Contractors, electricians, drywallers, all of these types of jobs that are going to be engaged in this work addressing a fundamental problem and challenge in our province. So I think this is the kind of work that we want to keep on doing, and we want to keep on doing it together. Je veux aussi dire qu'aujourd'hui, c'est la journée de la francophonie. Donc, je veux vous souhaiter une joyeuse journée de la francophonie aussi, mes amis. On est vraiment fiers et on est chanceux d'avoir une communauté si forte ici à New-Brunswick. J'adore ça et j'adore travailler avec mes collègues francophones à Ottawa. Ça me donne la chance de parler français presque tous les jours, mais tous les jours aussi. Donc, heureuse de célébrer cette journée avec vous autres aujourd'hui. Maintenant, je vais introduire mon ami avec qui je travaille tous les jours, avec qui j'ai la chance de travailler. Un gars inspirant qui arrête jamais. J'inviterai maintenant l'honorable Dominic LeBlanc, président du Conseil privé du roi pour le Canada et ministre responsable du commerce Canada-États-Unis, des affaires intergouvernementales, du commerce intérieur et de l'unité de l'économie canadienne, à prononcer quelques mots. Merci.
Merci énormément à David. C'est un privilège de travailler avec quelqu'un aussi exceptionnel que votre député de Fredericton aussi. Moi, je ne vais pas répéter les bons mots que la première ministre a dit, que mon collègue Gregor Robertson a dit. Je veux juste m'associer à ce travail important que fait le gouvernement du Nouveau-Brunswick en partenariat avec le gouvernement du Canada et évidemment nos partenaires municipaux, les gens du secteur privé. I'm really happy. I think it was David that said Gregor came all the way from Vancouver. If you take a look at him, I think he just came from Florida. But Gregor Robertson, now he's trying to say he was in Nunavut. Yeah, you forgot your coat there, David. Mais Gregor Robertson, notre ministre du Logement, our Minister of Housing and Infrastructure, a former mayor of Vancouver, understands deeply the housing needs and the infrastructure needs in every part of the country. He and his team have worked with my colleagues from the House of Commons representing New Brunswick and the government of New Brunswick. And Gregor, all teasing aside, thank you so much for coming to Fredericton to announce this important investment. And je vais conclure avec ceci. Le gouvernement du Nouveau-Brunswick, la première ministre Holt, ses ministres, sont des partenaires essentiels pour nous au gouvernement du Canada. Vous êtes ici une des premières annonces d'une importance aussi urgente que le logement au Canada, mais c'est bel et bien au Nouveau-Brunswick avec le gouvernement de Mme Holt. On travaille de proche sur des grands projets. On travaille de proche sur d'autres investissements. Et moi, comme ministre des Affaires intergouvernementales, d'avoir un gouvernement aussi engagé, aussi participant, aussi présent dans le défi de leurs citoyens. Mais je suis tout à fait fier comme néo-brunswickois de travailler encore plus avec le gouvernement provincial de Mme Holt et ses ministres. And this example today is just the beginning of the important work that we'll continue to do with the government of New Brunswick to meet the needs of the people of this great province. And I'm just super happy to be here with my colleagues. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
Merci, Minister LeBlanc. It's always great to see you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for the work that you're doing for our country and our province. I couldn't be more proud. Every day since being in this position, working for New Brunswickers, working. I'll invite Minister Hickey, the Minister responsible for Housing New Brunswick Corporation, and the Chair. A voice on housing. Minister Hickey.
Very generous. I think there's only 8 speakers left behind me after this. So. Of housing continues to be the biggest expense in the budget. Months ago, we have been focused on delivering just that in affordability. Important dans le domaine du logement. Pour la première fois, nos mises en de livrer de nouvelles habitations à un plus grand nombre de néo. Les promoteurs en éliminant le TVH. Texte économique de plus en plus incertain, le Nouveau-Brunswick. Nous avons accompli cela tout en loyer. This agreement of 1,200 new homes with Build Canada Homes marks the single largest commitment of affordable housing in New Brunswick's history. Bravo. This partnership will nearly triple our output of nonprofit housing in our province. And to put that into context, this past year we built 275 nonprofit affordable units. And under this agreement, we will reach 1,200 over the next 2 years. Wow. Yeah. Wow. This agreement is turning the corner for New Brunswick's pace of affordable housing construction, and we will do this in partnership. We'll do it in partnership with our nonprofit housing leaders, with the construction industry, and with particular focus on unlocking New Brunswick's horsepower in modular development. I'd like to specifically recognize some of the work of some of the members of my team. People like Jen Ross, people like Rashmi Hawley, Greg Forrestal, Francois Boutot, and the rest of the leadership at Housing New Brunswick. I want to thank you for the work that you put in on this agreement, and to the same leadership at Build Canada Homes and Minister Robertson, thank you for your generosity of time and your commitment to getting more homes built in New Brunswick. I also want to recognize the work of our partners as part of this agreement, to people like Peter Corbin of the New Brunswick Nonprofit Housing Association and the tremendous partnerships that we've been able to form with the nonprofit housing sector. Thank you to you. I also want to recognize our modular construction partners, people like Maple Leaf Homes, who are constructing the public housing that you see behind us. Kent Homes, Ironwood, Prestige Homes, and Supreme. Merci beaucoup. To it. As the cost of living continues to rise and affordability continues to get more out of reach for New Brunswickers, our government is responding. Afin de rendre la vie plus abordable et de mettre en œuvre le programme de construction de logements le plus vaste et le plus ambitieux de l'histoire de notre province. In the face of our challenges, our government is stepping up for New Brunswickers, and we're going to build. We're going to build more, and we're going to build faster. $300 million to deliver 1,200 new units in this province over the next 2 years. New Brunswick is entering what I will call a new age of housing construction, and I can commit to you that our provincial government will be there to deliver. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister Hickey. I just want to reiterate what Minister LeBlanc was saying earlier, which is that there has been a tremendous effort by the provincial government, by the Premier and Minister Hickey that I've seen over the last year that has been very impressive, and it's been a joy to work with them as well on this. So thank you very much. Merci pour ça. Now I will invite another friend from New Brunswick, Wayne Long, Secretary of State of Canada, Revenue Agency and Financial Institutions, and Member of Parliament for St. John, Kennebecasis, to deliver remarks.
Good morning. What an amazing day for our province. $150 million announced federally, thank you, Minister Robertson, and $150 million announced provincially. Thank you, Premier and Minister Hickey. Everybody in our province deserves to have a home. Housing is a right. And this $300 million announcement today for 1,200, hopefully we can stretch that to 1,500 units, is an amazing step forward for our province. I want to acknowledge my colleagues, my wonderful MP colleagues, obviously David Myles, who's been up at this podium, Jeanette Petitpas-Taylor, Guillaume Duchesne, Dom's okay too, and Serge Cormier. This is an amazing example of how two levels of government can work together. Minister Hickey had the proposal from NB Housing. Our colleagues, all of us worked. This has been developing over months, back and forth, meetings, try this, adjust that, make sure the community's involved, the nonprofits that are here, our mayors, my mayor, Donna Node-Reardon is here, Brittany Merrifield is here from my region. This is a true team effort to deliver housing for New Brunswickers. It's a great day for our province. The sun is out. We have a wonderful project right behind us here, and it's a day we should celebrate the good things that we do. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Long, for recognizing that the sun always shines on the north side. Fredericton.
Just don't come tomorrow.
Secretary, thank you for your hard work as well in collaboration on so many projects in this province. I truly appreciate you. So that concludes our formal speaking portion of this event. We'll now have the opportunity for the media to ask questions. After that, there'll be a group photo with the speakers and other distinguished guests, and then there'll be a chance to see a partially finished unit. And I certainly encourage you, if you can, to check out one of those partially finished units and to see the work that Maple Leaf Homes has done on this project. I'll now call on Renee Proctor to moderate the media question period. Renee?
Thank you. Nous allons maintenant passer à la conférence de presse. Une fois que la conférence est terminée, je demanderai aux participants juste à rester pour une photo de groupe. Puis ensuite, on va faire un tour du site que les médias sont invités à participer. Je vais juste demander aux médias que vous donnez votre nom puis votre athlète, puis à qui vous directez la question. Puis c'est une question, un suivi. We'll now move on to our media availability. Once the press conference is finished, I just asked all the speakers to stay where they are for a group photo, and we will move to a quick site tour, which media are invited to attend. I'll just ask that each outlet line up here at the mic. We have time for one question and one follow-up. I just ask each outlet to please state their name and their outlet and who their question is directed to. So we'll start with the first outlet.
Good morning, Aidan Cox with CBC. This might be best for Minister Hickey. I'm just wondering, with the funding that's announced, how much of it is dedicated towards public housing that's built by the government of New Brunswick versus money that's set aside for private investment?
So this entire agreement is with nonprofit developers. So this is strictly nonprofit. The government of New Brunswick will continue the investment in public housing outside of this agreement. Our breakdown is there is a $60 million commitment in capital investment into this agreement and a $90 million commitment in rent supplements and continuation of those units.
Okay. I mean, the money seems like it would go a long way towards public housing, which the province would have full control over. Why not put that kind of money into the New Brunswick public housing portfolio?
Yeah, we've got tremendous partnerships in our nonprofit sector who have the capacity and agility to respond to the moment and do it with the speed that we need. We can't be the only ones developing. We need all hands on deck to make sure that we are responding to the crisis that we're in, and that means partnerships with nonprofits who know their communities, who know how to build in their communities, and can get more done faster. We'll continue through our infrastructure investment that was in our capital budget this year, continue to meet also the most ambitious commitments on public housing development as well.
A quick question for Dominic LeBlanc. Minister LeBlanc, I have a question from my colleagues in Ottawa, if you don't mind responding to those.
That's really surprising. They would have texted you a question to ask me. That's great.
It happens from time to time, I'm sure.
Really?
Pierre Poilievre is in the U.S. this week and says he's trying to support the Prime Minister's work. What do you think of his efforts, and does it support the government's work on Canada-U.S. relations?
So I, as Minister responsible for Canada-U.S. trade, work with all parliamentarians. I've had conversations with Conservative colleagues, with New Democrat colleagues, with senators. We're happy to work with all parliamentarians. We work with premiers closely on advancing Canada's economic interests. Mr. Poilievre chose to spend some time in the United States this week. I've just taken note publicly of his travels, and I think that the more Canadians can see us speaking with one unified voice to Americans about the benefit of working collaboratively with the Americans in building an economy that truly benefits all the partners in North America. We have a free trade agreement with Mexico, the United States. Anytime parliamentarians want to stand up and defend that agreement and make the case in Canada or the United States, it's a good thing.
And quickly, House Republicans...
It's your fifth question, and they said you had...
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's good. Hi, Andrew Ward, Telegraph Journal. My questions are for Premier Holt. There we go. Premier, first of all, on this announcement, can you just walk me through how this money breaks down, how much of it is in this year's budget, and so on and so on, please?
That's a good question for the Housing Minister. Do you want me to get him to come
Sure,
on?
anyone who can answer. Doesn't matter to me.
The commitment that we've signed on to, like I said before, is $60 million in the capital construction costs of the projects in the agreement, and $90 million separated in rent supplements. So I mean, the $90 million is spread over a 20-year term, and the $60 million will be reflected in what you see as part of our budget for our affordable rental housing programs and a couple of the other ones that will feed into the nonprofit sector. We can get the specifics for you as well.
Thank you. And Premier, I've got an unrelated question. So eVisit NB, so they've extended out for 3 months beyond the end of March. Why was that necessary, and what's going on with the founder of that company? When will they actually be ready?
There was a transition clause in the contract with eVisit to provide 90 days of transition time if and when we're moving to different service providers. So this was contemplated in the original contract side with eVisit a number of years ago. And the team that is delivering our 811 service right now, and the partners that they've engaged in New Brunswick to expand and integrate those services to provide better virtual care to New Brunswickers, they're getting that work done and doing the transition so that everything can go seamlessly through April 1, May 1, June 1, and beyond.
And so when is Founder going to get to take over?
I believe June 1st.
Perfect. Thanks, Premier.
Hi, I'm Amanda with Global News. I have a question for the Premier as well when it comes to the budget. I know that thousands of New Brunswickers have indicated they're concerned about the province's debt, and this budget adds to that. I'm wondering what you would say to those New Brunswickers who are anxious about that.
I would say that we look very carefully at every penny we spend, and we listen very closely to New Brunswickers who told us the number one thing they wanted to see us do was improve their access to health care. Not enough New Brunswickers can get timely access to care right now, and so this budget makes the single largest increase in investment in doctors, in nurses, in clinics, and the kind of technology that's going to mean that patients only have to tell their story one time, and then every other health professional will have access to connected health information that will deliver better and more efficient service. The next thing we heard from New Brunswickers was that the cost of living was really challenging to manage, and so this budget takes meaningful steps, like you've heard today, towards making life more affordable for New Brunswickers, making sure they have access to the housing that they need in communities all over the province. But we didn't stop with investments. We looked at how we could be more efficient. We looked at things that we could stop doing in order to make sure that we had a sustainable budget. That means that we are looking at a 12% reduction in the civil service of New Brunswick. There's other difficult decisions that have been made that are talked about. And we're looking at how we can stimulate our economy to generate revenue. And that means engaging with the incredible folks in our modular housing sector that are building not only for New Brunswickers, but are building to meet Canada's need for affordable housing with expertise developed right here in New Brunswick. We're also engaging with critical mineral sector, with the defense sector, with food, with fish, with wood, because the resources that New Brunswickers have can be used to generate the kind of good paying jobs that will help people pay the bills. So we have a really balanced budget of investing in the priorities that New Brunswickers care about and making the streamlining and the reductions that we needed to the civil service, and investing in our future, stimulating our economy to grow the top line so that we can make the best of our resources and see a great future for New Brunswickers.
I know that you talk about healthcare being your number one priority, but the doctor waitlist has grown since you came into government. How long until we start to see those results, and when would your government consider changing the approach if those promised results don't come into place?
Yeah, those are great questions, Anna, and questions I ask myself and ask the Minister of Health on a regular basis, because we came into a healthcare system that was in free fall. We were losing healthcare professionals. They were going to other provinces and other places because they had a government that disrespected them and they didn't have a competitive contract or the tools they needed to do their jobs. So we spent last year trying to put the foundation in place, transform the model of primary care away from single shingle and into these team-based collaborative care practices that New Brunswickers want. To do that, we needed new contracts. So we signed a competitive contract that respected our nurses and paid them what they were worth. Then we signed a nation-leading contract with our physicians that is going to incentivize them to take more patients, to deliver care after hours and on weekends, to deliver care in rural areas. It gives them the technology they need to do that more efficiently and to bring on the NPs and the LPNs and the social workers that will give New Brunswickers really comprehensive primary health care that will keep them out of our emergency rooms, saving us costs on the acute side. So that work has been done in our first 16 months in government. We've opened 12 collaborative care clinics and enhanced their access and patients' access to care. We have places like Nakawik, like Fundy Shores, that are now taking every person who is not attached into the clinics that we have invested in with healthcare professionals who now want to work in New Brunswick because we have the most attractive contract out there. We're seeing the net new amount of doctors come to New Brunswick growing rapidly. We are certifying doctors who have skills built elsewhere here in New Brunswick in 12 weeks' time. And so we are going to continue on this course. It is the right plan. As you know, we are keen on measures, so we are measuring attachment and access every time the data is available. Next January, we will report back to New Brunswickers on how we're doing. If after 2 years we don't see the fruits of our labors, then we will continue to look at what we need to do differently in partnership with patients and doctors and nurses and the people on the ground who are delivering the care. It's them that are driving these decisions, and that's why I have a lot of confidence that things are going to get better. We're going to see the results of the hard work and investment that we've put in.
Bonjour. My question would be for Minister Hickey. Et en français, s'il vous plaît.
Bravo.
Yes. Try your best.
Je fais un effort.
J'aimerais savoir un peu plus comment ce programme va fonctionner. How it's going to work. Vous avez 1500 unités, vous avez 300 millions de dollars. Ça commence quand? L'entente, ça se termine quand? And how the money is going to be spent? Est-ce que ça va être donné aux entreprises privées pour construire moins cher? Est-ce que ça va aller directement dans les familles pour avoir du logement abordable? So how is it going to work?
Ceci est le support directement aux organisations à but sans lucratif. C'est le support pour les projets autour de la province, dans les communautés, avec une organisation à but sans lucratif, avec un projet pour supporter les projets directement. C'est ce support qui est combiné du gouvernement fédéral et de notre contribution provinciale.
Sur quelle durée l'entente?
L'entente va rester, on va faire un effort pour être à 50% cette année et continuer dans l'année prochaine.
And my other question would be for Dominic LeBlanc, lucky you.
We've got the Minister of Housing federally here. Let's make sure we get him a question. It came all the way from Vancouver.
Question pour Monsieur LeBlanc. I'm sorry.
OK, mais Nicolas, est-ce que ça vient de toi ou ça vient d'Ottawa?
C'est un effort commun et collectif.
De Radio-Canada, mais c'est ça.
C'est ça.
C'est ça.
So, Dominic, le gouvernement du Canada a dit hier être prêt à contribuer aux efforts pour garantir la navigation dans le détroit d'Ormuz. Quelle pourrait être précisément la contribution du Canada à ces opérations?
Ben, évidemment, le premier ministre Carney travaille avec ses homologues. On a vu des partenaires du G7 et d'autres pays se mettre ensemble hier pour déclarer le constat partagé de l'importance de la sécurité maritime, de l'impact de la guerre sur les prix de pétrole et sur les marchés boursiers à travers le monde. Alors, le Canada va continuer de travailler et de définir qu'est-ce qui sera potentiellement une contribution. Je ne pense pas que ces détails sont finalisés. Mon collègue, le ministre de la Défense, comme le premier ministre, sont en contact quotidien, continuellement. Et à un moment donné, avec d'autres partenaires, le Canada définira sa contribution. Mais je pense qu'il faut vraiment travailler avec d'autres pays pour comprendre qu'est-ce que le Canada peut contribuer, qu'est-ce que d'autres pays sont prêts à contribuer. Et à ce moment-là, il y aura une décision conjointe entre différents partenaires. Ce ne sera pas un engagement solitaire, ce sera vraiment dans le cadre d'un effort multilatéral. Merci.
Okay, we'll now move to the group photo and then the media tour to follow in the unit. Thank you.
Premier Holt here. Last time you were in Chancery Place together, you were talking about refund from the GST tax holiday. You suggested at that point that there was something pending, coming. Is there any update that you can provide from both of you? And is this part of that?
Yeah, happy to speak to that. The federal government made good on their word, and we're pleased to have gotten $60 million returned to the people of New Brunswick. That's going to go a long way towards the work that we're doing to deliver New Brunswickers the services they're looking for.
As we said in Chancery Place, we thought it was important to support, in this particular case, some of the costs that the New Brunswick government is facing in terms of having to deliver quality healthcare services in both official languages. They're taking great steps in terms of digital patient records and allowing, as the Premier said, in response to another question, better access to healthcare providers, to patient stories. So we were able to support that important work. And you just heard the Premier say that the Government of Canada, as always, Premier, made good on its word.
And Premier, just as out of fairness for a quick follow, if I may, you've been criticized for not making sweeping cuts in the budget, and in the weeks and days leading up to it, you were kind of suggesting that there would be. So was there anything that was about to be cut that at the last minute, at the 11th hour, you decided that you weren't going to go there?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, we have people saying that we haven't made enough cuts, and we have people saying that we've made too many cuts. But no, we don't make last-minute decisions, especially when it comes to reducing employment for civil servants and those kinds of jobs. That's something we take very seriously. We look really carefully at all of our assets and whether we can transition some of those to communities or to other places that have the ability to deliver that service in the ways that the provincial government is not as good at or maybe shouldn't be subsidizing. So there weren't any changes that came to the budget in the last couple of weeks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.